And welcome to the morning show. I am Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at the
fabulous Arizona Center.
What a day we have planned for you.
Oh, indeed.
Marshall and I might be getting just a teeny bit tipsy before lunch, and we're completely okay with that.
Exactly. And it's all got a story behind it, which is great.
It does. We've got ABEL here from Compa Spirits, and he is doing amazing, excellent work, basically bringing mezcal, wine, all sorts of Mexican spirits.
Other distilleries as well. I mean, really kind of searching them out, bringing them and their story to Arizona, to some of your favorite bars or some places you haven't been to. Maybe you need to go.
And we're pitching that ABEL does a documentary about the work that he's doing. So reach out to him, tell him it's a good idea. I think the more people who tell him that, the more he'll be likely to do it.
And he also has Chris from Chilte with him.
Yep.
Making this delicious beverage using Mexican Saki.
Yeah, we were very surprised about that. Delightfully surprised. But Chris is excellent at what he does as well, and probably going to be the highlight of our day.
Well, and we're actually hoping that we can get Chilte back on with food and beverage next time.
We'd like to get Chef, yeah.
A little F&B, not just the B.
Yeah, we might go to that. We might go film at Chilte too.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's such a cool vibe there. If you've never been, you really should go to Chilte. It's dinner, and then you have to make a reservation. I say have to. It's kind of small. There's not that many tables.
I would say it's very small, but again, they've been getting national recognition for their food.
They have, yeah. And so, make a reservation, plan kind of a special night out, and you will love it, we promise.
Yeah, and hang out, because you see Chris making a cocktail, and then you'll have yet another reason to go hang out with him.
That's right. All right, so keep it right here for Chris and ABEL.
So we had the open house.
Yes.
You know what was also that same day?
Your birthday.
My birthday.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, what an amazing weekend it was.
Yeah, he made some cat toys.
Yeah, so I went over to Strawberry Hedgehog and with Health Panther, made some cat toys for a friend's new kitten. We did, so I've talked about doing this ARX4, which is Artist Researcher Exchange, where they have paired an artist and a researcher together. And so did the initial install of that on Saturday, as well as a little video for that. That will be going live on the 19th. You can view it at the biomedical campus, but then it'll also be going to the Science Center in a few weeks. So I'll let you know when that actually happens, because that'll be really cool. It's me and I think 9 other artists.
Very cool.
Have collaborated and bring a wide variety of works.
So I also wanted to make a little announcement. We are going to be starting a workshop series here at our studio, where I'm going to be mainly helping lead some workshops for small businesses, local businesses, and you can actually find all of the information on our website and sign up for those workshops now. The first one is going to be about AI. I know that a lot of people have a lot of questions about AI, how to use it as part of their business and use it responsibly or ethically. Some people are afraid of it. Some people, just aren't sure where to even start. So this is beginner friendly, and it's only $20 to come to these workshops. Yeah, so very hands-on, and plus you'll get to see our cool new space. So go ahead and sign up on our website, onthemorningshow.com, to register for the first workshop on October 16th. So that's exciting.
Indeed.
But also, Marshall, I'm leaving you. Did you know that?
Oh, no.
Not forever.
I'm saying just for a day.
Yeah. I'm going to be gone on Monday, the 22nd of September, because I am going to Oogie Boogie Bash in Disneyland.
Nice.
Yeah. My best friend and I are going. She's dressing like Jack Skellington outfit inspired, and I'm doing Oogie Boogie. So I've got the slime green. She got black and white, which is so cute, and I've got like this Nickelodeon slime green, but that's okay.
I must say, but I love that color.
Actually, it's It's cute. I found a tennis skirt that was that color.
Oh, fun.
And then I got like an Oogie Boogie shirt and like
Yeah.
a fanny pack
fun.
that's green and white checkered. It's gonna look cute.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So good. Then you'll also be back in time for the band book reading.
Yes.
Which is then Friday the 26th.
That's right.
So yeah.
We've got a busy.
So I mean, it's like we've got it's as September's winding down, we got a lot of stuff cooking.
Yeah, we do.
So, which is always fun. And we're so happy that you're here joining us, being a part of all that.
Okay, so we'll get right down to it. Marshall's ready to drink a little bit. So like we said, we've got ABEL and Chris here, and we've also got...
I know, don't forget about Juan.
Juan Kingsbury is here, and Juan is really interesting because he basically kind of helps people identify blind spots in their areas of work and how to work through them or change them. And it sounds like a really good efficiency business that you could use at a small organization, at a big organization, and he kind of talked about that. It didn't really matter
the size,
what it was. These are common things that everybody kind of struggles with. So really, really enjoyed that, and he actually left a couple books for us, so we're excited to dig into that, put some of that into practice for ourselves. So thank you to Juan. So yeah, let's get rolling with some interviews.
And welcome back to the morning show. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at the fabulous Arizona Center.
And, well, you know, it's all the excitement that we have, because, I mean, we have bottles.
I'm also on the, I feel like I'm on the wrong side of you.
Yeah,
okay,
so,
whatever.
Yes, we have bad ears now facing each other.
I know.
So.
Okay, but yes, ignore the bad ears. We have some really good news, actually. We've got ABEL here from Compa Spirits. ABEL, tell us about your company, about what you do.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me here. It's very exciting. It's a beautiful space. I'm a small boutique importer and distributor of Mexican alcohol and like wine and spirits. So it started with one family, has turned into hundreds from all over Mexico, and I bring these amazing things here, but then some of them also spread out outside of Arizona. So it's been 7 years now since I started this.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
What got you into this specifically?
It kind of got into me.
Okay.
I had that infamous, there was a bottle of water and you'd been drinking too much and you grabbed it and drank it, and that bottle of water was not water. I couldn't drink Dasani for a very long time. It was actually mezcal. And that was literally the start of it. It imprinted itself on me in the most horrible of ways. Where I was never going to drink that stuff again. Fast forward through the journey, I went to Oaxaca and truly fell in love with it and saw the place and the purpose behind it. But that was the beginning. It started very rocky, and from there, kind of through the weeds, I saw the journey of what I was trying to do and really supporting his family. So it's been hard, fun, and challenging, but it also started from a very unique place that if you would have told me 7 years ago where I'd be right now, wouldn't even believe you at all.
That's funny. My story of that is Malibu rum, which I still have not drank since my 20s. I wonder if I'll get into rum at some point. No.
Same with good reason, but that's...
I was a 20-year-old girl at a club. What are you going to do? So, and I might be making an incorrect assumption here, but I feel like this would be well accepted here in Arizona. Is that true? Is that something that you've seen a lot of kind of warm and welcome reception to these from Mexico?
Yeah, Arizona's an incredible place. Obviously, we're Sonoran Desert. At one point in time, we were Mexico through history. And for me, there was definitely some challenges, but now the culture and the craft is really appreciated. When I first started, even mezcal was like smoky tequila. I'm like, no, like Moscato. I'm like, no. Yeah, that shows you how long
Definitely
it's
not.
Yeah, and so I had those conversations in the beginning. And now you don't go to a great cocktail bar that doesn't have not one, if not two, mezcal drinks on the menu. And so that's where it started. And then from there, all these things have just kept coming to me. The things I wouldn't even believe are coming from Mexico. So now we have, gin that's coming out of Mexico City from one of the oldest distilleries. I started the wine division about 4 years ago. Yeah, this is definitely a tiki style gin too,
nice.
Which is fun about it. The wine division has just exploded. I've always appreciated wine, but never had the connections and the focus on it. But enough wine buyers were like, hey, we're really interested in Mexican wine. Can you find some? And Mark Tarbell was really the one who said, if you find it, we will buy it. And he's been kind of like my little guide through all this in a very unique way, and he's an icon here in Arizona for those of you who don't know him.
Very much so.
He's just an incredible person, and so now I have spirits from all over, from Bacanora, Sotol, Mezcal, tequila, but also gin, rum, whiskey from all over.
Wow. So let's do a little 101 and maybe just say what is Mezcal for people that don't know. And then I also want to revisit this idea of wine from Mexico because that's not something that I thought that I wanted. But like now that you say it, I'm like, yeah, I would be really interested in that. And maybe talk about the evolution of how that kind of came to be. Yeah.
Perfect. So what I'll tell you now, what I'll teach you is something you can use pretty much for anything. To really find like the true meaning of it, and whether it's the food that you're actually eating, the vegetables, whatnot, but also with the spirit. So the 3 Ps is when I do a staff training. So staff trainings are when I'm bringing in amazing product, and I've talked to the owners, maybe the restaurant, but the servers and the bartenders who actually do most of the work, they don't get to hear it. So the 3 Ps that I like to teach is place, plant, and process. That's going to get your brain around it and how you know really what makes it special. And so if we were going to actually go to Mexico and do this, we're gonna make, whether it be wine or mezcal, we gotta get to the place. So when I say place, it could be Jalisco, where tequila comes from.
Okay.
Or it could be Oaxaca, where mezcal comes from. So now we're there, and we're starting to separate in what makes something special. And from Jalisco, that's where tequila comes from. So now that comes from the plant. Can you guess what agave you think it's named? Tequiliana.
Oh.
Right? So this whole time you've been ordering tequila thinking it was its own thing. It's actually a type of agave. So when I say mezcal's up here, tequila is actually an offshoot of it. So just like if you were to go to a wine bar and you order champagne, you're saying you want grapes from a certain place, from a certain style of grape. It's the same thing. You've been ordering tequila. You've been saying, hey, I want the Tequiliana from Jalisco. Then you go to mezcal itself, and then there's all these different species of agave, just like grape. And when you now have to find those species, it could be Tobala, it could be Espadín. Now you have a different species that you're going to produce. And the last P is the production. And now production, where it gets very, very fun and confusing depending on who's the person learning. If you're a cocktail nerd, you're like, yeah, keep telling me more. If you're like, whoa, I just saw a cool bottle, I want to get it. That's where it can get really fun. So what I have up here is actually tequila that's high proof produced. So right now, the tequila world really went very commercial. It's all about big production fast, and now they saw the mezcal boom. They're actually slowing it down and doing it the more artisanal way. So you can cook them in a clay brick oven versus a big like crock pot. So now you're getting industrial production styles that kind of took us to a different direction. With mezcal, it can be done in an earthen pit. It can be hand mashed. It can be done in a clay pot where they're actually distilling the cooked agave fibers. And the fibers, if you think about like a sweet potato, if you bite into it raw versus you bite into a cooked sweet potato, how it completely changes. That's the same thing with an agave. Once those sugars come out, then they can distill it, and now they can distill it in copper, in clay, or in stainless steel. So those are your 3, like place, plant, process, but in each of those categories, it can be very different because we have our neighbors in Sonora, they produce a spirit called Bacanora, and they're like us. They're kind of hot just south of us. Where if you go to Oaxaca, you're way more central, way more climate, valleys, rivers, oceans. And so that's what makes everything special. So I tell everyone, like, you're not supposed to love them all, you're supposed to try them all, and then find your favorite, and then find out, like, why. Why do I really love this thing that I'm trying right now?
How did you meet the families that are making the products that you distribute?
I grew up with one of them in the beginning. From there, I've gone on trips. I've had families DM me and come in. Families will come visit, and I've had people bring bottles. Like, it really is like a notebook of connection through so many different ways. That it's pretty incredible to see how people find me. I've been in Mexico, and someone's like, hey, I'm sending my friend to you, and we're in like Mexico City, and they're a producer that happened to be in Mexico City that's from Oaxaca. And so it's the hard part of my job. I have to say no to a lot of people because so many people reach out. All I do is Mexico, so for me, I this is what I do, and there's so many amazing families, and they need support and they need help. But I also, now I'm at that point where I can't help everybody because I have so many amazing people that I need to help on this side.
I saw that we had some footage of you kind of talking to some of the folks that make this. Have you done like a documentary or filmed the process of it being made or anything like that?
Not yet. It's something I'm starting the excursion side of the business because we do these amazing trips, and we just got back from Guanajuato, and I had a mix of consumers, and we got to visit one of the producers, and he was in the process of making some mezcal in Guanajuato. And I'm getting better at editing. I don't want to, as an entrepreneur, you have to do everything.
Yeah.
And we're at that world where I'm like a generalist, so I try to do a lot of it, and I know I can't, but I have to right now.
Right.
And that's how storytell. That's what I think what you guys do is pretty amazing to see the folks you had here. Like, you're helping us tell stories, and that's a big part of what I do here on the daily. So I've tried to capture more of it, but now I'm at that point where I will have someone come down and really, really see it. I've been part of the process, but I actually haven't captured it because I'm capturing it here. Because I have to see it here in order for me to talk to maybe it could be a bar manager or a beverage director, or maybe I'm sampling at a consumer event. And I have to be able to, I'm that link from the producer to the person who maybe is going to support it here, or the person who's actually going to drink it at the bar or a restaurant.
Yeah. I just think it's such a incredible process with like really powerful cultural weight, and that would be a beautiful visual story to tell. I just think a lot of people would be, You
guys go on tour? You got some excellent people here.
I mean, would love to.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about doing exactly that.
Yeah, we have. So, okay, sorry, my brain's going. Anything else, Abel, that you'd like to share?
Wine. You talked about wine. Most people don't think of wine when they think of Mexico. When I first started, it was like, oh, you guys make wine too? I'm like, yeah. Guess where the oldest winery in the Americas is located?
Mexico.
I'll say Mexico.
Exactly, right? You wouldn't think that. Historically, Hernan Cortez, when he came over, he found grapes, started producing wine, started bringing over vines on the boats, doing really well, and then this thing called greed came in, and the Spanish king looked at his books. Oh, you guys are doing tequila, mezcal, and wine. That's now illegal. Burn the vineyards. And that's why we don't see it commercially supported until really now. And the wine division has just skyrocketed. And it's everything you love. It's bubbles. Like, I have bubbles.
I stood by the cork. I was like, oh, look, there's bubbles there.
Yep, it's coming from Querétaro, so central Mexico, high elevation. And then the Valle, whenever you hear the Valle, that's Ensenada, that's Baja California.
Okay.
We have multiple wines coming from there. And we also have, like, your natty wine. So this is coming from San Miguel de Allende, one of the most, like, beautiful cities in the world. It's in Mexico City. And he is from, not Serbia, Brancos. Like, you have this amazing culture of winemakers from literally across the globe. You have Mexicanos, but I have French families, I have Italian families that are producing and growing grapes in Mexico with the varietals that could be a Tempranillo, it could be a Nebbiolo, making wine. And that's why the wine has just been skyrocketing in terms of quality, because people are embracing it. And when I first started, it was actually the high-end spots. It wasn't Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
It was the like Mark Tarbell's. They were the ones getting it. Pala. And now the Mexicano restaurants are going full Mexican wine on their list because they can.
Right.
Okay.
And so it's been an interesting, in Arizona, you talked about it, I think like 3 out of every 10 new restaurants opening up are Mexican restaurants. So for me, it's like, great, this is, sustainable in a great way, but it's because the quality's there. Like, they wouldn't do it if it didn't check and it didn't taste great.
Yeah. I find that interesting that it started out with like Tarbell level and is working, it's kind of trickling down into the
those
more
food
local
pioneers
markets.
saying, hey, here's something you should try.
No,
and having those people say, yes, I should try that.
Yeah, there's a lot of great somms. They care. Just like when you get a server who comes in and you can tell they're really passionate about a dish, the somms on wine, they see it as this unknown secret, and for them to be able to teach you something and experience, like you come and have a dinner and you experience something you weren't, that's what I do on a daily, and they love that same ability when they can do it.
That makes sense. Well, Marshall has been very patient.
Well, I know, because we have this side of the table, but then there's this side of the table.
We actually have Chris here, who is going to make us a drink. Chris, come join us.
Hello.
Hi, Chris.
Welcome to Happy Hour.
I know, I'm happy to be here.
So you are from, I don't think I ever say it right, Chilte?
It's Chilte, so it's short for chiltepine, the Mexican pepper there, right down the road from where we're filming right now.
It's incredible.
Hop, skip, and a jump, And,
I might not say it right, but I love it. So
it's okay. It's the thought that counts.
For sure.
Well, that whole complex. Just the Egyptian, the way they brought it back to life, from what it was, and now it's such a destination on Grand.
Yeah, we've got a really fun space over there. We're very fortunate to have a very, I think, lively, being right in the center of that kind of arts community over there. It's just attracts the right crowd and just a cool space to be showcasing what we're doing.
For sure. Okay, so what are you doing for us today?
So I've got a little cocktail here from our menu, actually. Our menu kind of serves a couple of purposes when we're doing our cocktails here. One is to kind of push people outside of their comfort zone a little bit, get them to try something new, and also to showcase some, I guess, different sides of Mexico. So this cocktail that I brought today is called the Sinaloa Shogun.
Okay.
It's actually a Mexican Sake cocktail, Mexican Sake and Mezcal, because they do make sake in Mexico now. I know, because Mexico is a wonderful, rich, multicultural place, just like anywhere else. So it's the first, and I believe it because you don't see a lot of that, Mexican sake ever to exist, with a little mezcal, also showcasing that mezcal is not just smoky tequila, as we might have touched on already over here. It's a very low smoke profile cocktail, so something real fun for people to try and kind of wrap their head around what Mexican spirits can really do.
Okay, well, we're excited. Let's do it.
So I'll just get ripping here, and I'll try and make enough for everybody because it's almost lunchtime here.
How long have you been at Chilte?
I've been at Chilte day one for the brick and mortar side.
Oh, wow, okay.
They were a pop-up first in the farmers markets, if you know the history there. Then brick and mortar opened back in 2023, February of 2023. I was day one there. Chef and I hit it off, so he lets me do cool creative stuff now. Yeah, it's been a great journey.
That's really cool.
Got to meet ABEL along the way over there, and he's been a really kind of backbone of our whole spirits portfolio over there.
Okay.
Because he has, I think, the largest portfolio of Mexican spirits and Mexican wines, and he's the only person carrying this Mexican sake.
Way to brag about him in a way that he didn't brag about himself. Very nicely done.
When it's your focus,
he's a humble guy, you know, but
it's just the focus.
It allows us to kind of expand and do some really cool things, and yeah, we've been very fortunate so far.
Yeah.
So this cocktail is fun. This Mezcal Guay is one that has a super low smoke profile, as I might have touched on. So when you get people who are like, I don't like Mezcal, I don't like smoke, you don't necessarily just get smoke. That is one flavor profile out of many flavor profiles that you can get out of Mezcal. Just like wine, we were talking about 300 different varietals of agave. They all taste super different. So get that green in there from some matcha simple syrup.
Matches my fingernails.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
I wore this color.
Oh, so it's a matcha simple syrup to go with the sake.
Yeah, a little
well
matcha simple.
done.
A little matcha simple, a little yuzu.
Marshall's even more excited.
I know, we got yuzu
matcha
as well. It's like this,
It's
like
trying to keep on the trends over here a little bit.
Marshall, will you hand me my phone? I want to take a picture of this before we ruin it. It's really beautiful. The color is just gorgeous.
I'll go in here too with the torch.
Oh,
because,
I was gonna say. Oh, when I was gonna say, I was like, oh, you know, torched rosemary.
Okay.
Torched rosemary.
And there he's bringing out the torch for the
We
rosemary.
gotta mix liquor and fire at any available opportunity that we can, but
Sorry,
also just the
property
drama.
manager.
The drama
We live in
of it all.
an Instagram world, so you are literally, if you go to Chilte, the dishes, the plates, the cups, all have this Instagram ability. And I think that's what really elevates drinks now, is you're not just making a drink, you're making a piece of art that's captured.
Good flavors, good smells.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
May I hand you a beverage?
Sure. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Marshall, we'll pass that to you.
Alrighty.
Okay. Thank you.
Abel and I might sip one off camera over here.
September to remember for me. I actually take 3 months.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, you should be so disappointed that smell-o-vision is not a thing.
Really? Yeah.
Because, I mean, the rosemary, the smells coming off of this glass are horrible. You don't want it. Oh my gosh.
Don't say that. We want to encourage people to go to their
I'm like,
restaurant.
it's like, oh no, it's like,
It's okay. They can be jealous.
cheers.
That delicious farm and freshness.
So while we're sipping this, you seem to have a little secret hiding here.
Oh yeah, so
Oh, damn, that's good.
we talk about agave in general, and you think of just what we can produce with it. But I just got back from a trip to Guanajuato, and we're actually going to, new world, we're going to try to fix climate change. We're going to try to happen with what's going on. We're actually going to do that, and it's all about the agave. So the agave is actually something that can sequester a ton of carbon through its lifetime. And then we can also make it into a bunch of different things. Cattle feed by taking its leaves off and feeding it. But this right here is actually a backpack that is made out of agave. And
That's
you wouldn't,
so cool.
Wow.
you wouldn't think that. So not only am I doing this, but now I'm a father, and we've had the 4th hottest summer on record. I'm literally going to try to fix climate change. And we, being in the arid desert, is actually one of the best places to do it. So it's pretty incredible to see what we can do. And these are, again, from learning. And
wow.
This is just part of it. So this is a backpack I use now. It's made of agave fiber, but we can start planting agave all over to feed cattle, to sequester carbon, and it's going to pull away from all the alfalfa and the water suck. So make amazing drinks, support amazing families, and do something that's actually greater for the world. And so as I keep evolving, this is just part of it. Things you can touch. When we go on our trips, you'll see the regeneration farming. All this is connected in a very unique way, and you're helping me tell this story, and I think more people, once they find out, we just need momentum, and I thank you again because you're helping that momentum.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So drinks are good.
I mean,
Thank you.
cheers to all of that.
Yeah,
I mean,
cheers.
with an amazing cocktail.
Thank you so much.
And your mission is incredible. The work that you're doing is incredible. I hope that everybody experiences what you've brought today and what you've made out of what he's brought today.
You bring that sense of
So great.
discovery and evolution where it's like you're sharing your knowledge so other people can now learn more and have that sense of discovery and be like, oh, here are these amazing things, not that far away.
Yeah. It's a safe place, a beautiful place, and then depending on your purpose when you're down there, you can find so much. When is this going to go on? Because there's an event coming up. When will our...
Next week.
Next week? Okay.
Probably, I don't know the exact date, but...
All right, well, next week's good. All right. Monday, October 6th.
Oh, yeah, there'll be plenty of time.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Perfect.
The 19th you air.
All right, Monday, October 6th, the full moon bat ball. We're going to have you dress up as your favorite bat. So it could be Batman, could be Batgirl, could be batshit crazy. Whatever you want.
You know, I feel so seen at that moment.
So my brain just went to a baseball bat. So.
Baseball bat, yeah, I have some people.
Okay.
But we're teaching about bats as the pollinators in the night with the agave. And so we have local artists that are painting. Imagine pots like this. These are little pot heads. This was my inspiration for it. So yeah, bigger pots, local artists. From Renato Garcia, that's a Mexican artist that's renowned here, to small local artists. And we're going to do a silent auction for the night with those agaves, with the pots. You're going to have food, you're going to have drinks, you're going to have cocktails, mezcal flight, and it's all about teaching people what we can do in terms of regenerative farming. And for me, it's always about, let's have fun, but let's also have, I guess, party with a purpose is really what this is. And this is going to be the first event under a full moon at Antigua Gardens, so hopefully we'll put it in the lower third or something.
Wow.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so October 6th is that event. Why don't we keep going? Why don't you look right into camera and share where folks can learn more about you, get in touch with you, and buy your products. And then I'd also love you to share about how they can follow Chilte.
I'd love to.
We're going to talk to River over here.
All right. Great name, River. That's my nephew's name. So my name's Abel, and I have an amazing company called Compa Spirits, and really it comes from your support. So you can find us on Instagram at compaspirits.com, the website, and really you're supporting families that are doing it right. And so your dollars matter, and you might as well put them to people that really you can make an impact on their lives. And so my products are across the state, and you're buying them from amazing people that are supporting those families, like Chris at Chilte.
It's me, Chris from Chilte, and like I said, our restaurant's right up the road over here, downtown Phoenix, Grand and Van Buren. Still small but mighty, so make a reservation, but showing off some really great Mexican wines, agaves, a lot of Abel's portfolio, and just excited to be sharing part of that story.
And if you want to invite me when you make a reservation, I'd love to join you. Just saying.
Plus one's encouraged.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you both, Abel,
Yeah,
Chris.
thank you
This
so
has been
much.
Thank you so
amazing.
much.
This has been great.
Yeah. Please let us know if you plan on attending their event on October 6th. I think that sounds so much fun, and I could see Marshall there in a heartbeat for sure.
Indeed.
I like the batshit crazy
I don't know what it's going to be, but someone's going to do it.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
All right. Well, keep it right here on the morning show. We've got more awesome coming your way.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at
The fabulous Arizona Center.
And we have a really interesting guest here with us today. We have Juan Kingsbury. Hi.
Hi. Thanks
So
for
you
having me.
are the founder, and I've never heard this title before, workplace dynamics expert.
That's good.
Of
made
career
it up.
blind spot. You made it up?
Yeah.
Well, what does it mean?
It means all the things that happen in the workplace are kind of the same patterns. I don't care if it's the Girl Scouts, the Suns, this place. You got leaders, you got people who need to do something to somehow drive results that pays everyone paychecks. So there's common blind spots or inevitabilities that I see on and on. So I'm just like, I can call it workplace dynamics, that stuff's going on. There's supposed to be problems at work, otherwise we wouldn't have jobs to solve those problems. So yeah, I've probably tweaked the title a couple of times, but that one's been sticking the last couple of years.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Like that absolutely makes sense. And I'm like, he's only said one sentence, and I'm like, we need you, Juan.
That's why I'm here.
So tell us a little bit about, like, you explained the job title very well, but what is it that you actually do? How do you work with folks?
So the origins of it is I do behavioral assessments. Some people call them personality assessments, but personality is pretty complex, and I always have people hold up their hands like a circle and then make a sliver. And I was like, and then make a sliver of a sliver. We're measuring that.
Yeah.
You're way more than what any one assessment is, but mine's the best. I'm biased, or the ones I use, I should say. It's not unique to me, but these characteristics, people always say, oh, I'm different in different places. Sure, but so is the environment. You take a cactus here and swap it with a redwood, you're not going to hit the same fruition potential. But there's a reason fish can exist in a hotel, an apartment. But you can control the environment to some degree. Yeah. And so we're the same person wherever we go, but depending on the relationships, the quality of the nutrients, sun, whatever the metaphor calls for, it's going to vary. And so with those assessments, we would do team workshops, help people hire, leadership development, coaching, which I still mainly do. But for the last, really post-COVID, isolation and loneliness and remote work, which I'm a fan of, leadership really has to be constantly redefined. And I think a lot of people have not a bad, but a stale version of what being a leader, and I don't just mean that in title, but especially in title. So I use these tools and my 5 blind spots that I've developed for the last 20 years to help people basically, like, let's do what we need to do at work, and let's also not lose our soul, or at the very least, or not very least, ideally, is like really love what we do. Yeah. And so I often say companies or businesses need results, but people want fulfillment, and I can make both happen.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think.
Now, you mentioned 5 blind spots.
5, yeah.
Yeah. So
I will teach you 4, and the 5th I will reserve to kill. No.
Otherwise, we'll never make it through the show. We're sorry, show has ended because we learned the 5th blind spot.
Just like, I'll tell you all 5, and they're in the book too. And I mention on my podcast all the time, the Career Blind Spot podcast. But they're just regular problems that I saw over and over happen. And the first one is the most important, which the assessments and any good coach is like, what's natural to you? What is a natural ability, talent, behavior, whatever, Enneagram, doesn't matter. But I think a lot of people have a good idea, but to really flesh it out, it's kind of like when you know you're sick, but then specifically, oh, you have this virus, or you ate something bad or something, you can pinpoint it. So that's the biggest blind spot that most people have. The second one is like that tree and fish analogy, is most people have a blind spot of the environment. It's kind of like if I get a job at McDonald's and I'm like, hey guys, we really need to be vegan. I'm really good at making vegan burritos. Like, I'm in the wrong place if I'm there. And it sounds silly, but a lot of people do that with like, hey, my company doesn't want me to do this or that. They don't value. It's like, did they ever? It's kind of like coming to Phoenix in the summer and being surprised that it's over triple digits. It's like, do you know where you're at? So talent, environment, and then the other 3 are important, but if you don't have those first 2, the other 3 kind of end up taking all of our time, which is our resource, our network, and skills. And in plain English, are you using the right tool the right way? Most of us have phones, and we all agree we can kind of abuse it, doom scroll, but at the same time, it can help you plan an amazing vacation, help you solve a problem. Are you connecting with people, not just going to network and on LinkedIn or whatever your social media, but are you doing it with integrity, intention, and really the thing I care more about is enthusiasm. Like, you don't need to network with everyone. In fact, most people already have a good network. They're just not leveraging it in a way that they can feel excited about. And then the last one is skill. that are you really leveraging the right skill? Like I could still work at McDonald's even though I'm a good vegan cook, which I'm not. But if I was really trying to thrive there, am I harnessing the right skill that I have? So those 5 blind spots, but 80% of the time goes to the first 2. And so that's what I do with workshops and coaching, et cetera.
I think it's really fascinating. Like my brain is going into kind of 2 different directions. One is I was a corporate journalist for 10 years, and the environment one is like peaking right now because they told me kind of right away who they were and what was important to them, and that was kind of antithetical to a lot of my core values. And then I kept trying to but if they'll just see,
I'll change them.
Yeah. It's like when you're in a bad relationship, right?
Yep.
And you're like, oh no, I could fix this.
Yeah.
But I never thought about it in the sense of they were always direct with me about what they valued and what they didn't.
And in fairness to you, I'm sure they did say some things that weren't completely accurate, and
Right.
And my big thing is don't have mission, vision, and values that you don't want to live up to. And a lot of organizations say we do X, Y, and Z, and then we don't.
Right.
And that's worse. Just say the thing you want to support. And the bigger the organization, the harder it is to control everything. But even if they were 100% accurate with you, and even if you heard it and it was great, however long ago it was, but the big example, the pandemic. Everyone's job description changed, not just in work. Like if you're a parent, you're homeschooling your kid or remote
everything
learning.
changed.
And so our refusal to accept those changes, right or wrong, but to adapt accordingly, that's so much of the stress and so much energy that you could get back if you were able to see it.
So how have you seen kind of since COVID has ended, now it's brought to light a lot of different work situations that we didn't have before. So what have you noticed in that?
I noticed that people are still people, the average worker, but also leaders. We live in different worlds. I'm a fan of remote work. I've been remote working. You saw my picture at co-working at Galvanize. And I think it's great, but as an extrovert, I need people. And if I did work for a company full time, I'd like to think I don't want to see those people. I had a different client relationship who's like, I know my people are more productive at home, his company specifically. But he goes, I know we're way more creative in the office. And I go, good for you. Realize some people who are super talented aren't going to agree with you, and they're going to opt out. But now you better be right, because that other person's going to go somewhere else, and that's okay. But technology, change is constant. But the point is, the jobs are changing whether we want them to or not. And on one hand, it's really exciting. On the other hand, it's super freaking scary. And that's before ChatGPT. So to answer your question more directly, is people are still in denial about what work really is. What's that mean from Mad Men? That's what the money is for. I don't care how passionate and fulfilled you are in your job. If they cut your paycheck in half, your opinion about going to work on Monday might change. And then my biggest thing is for the companies and leaders who do care and want people to return to work. It's you can't just tell them to and expect the same attitude. If you want them to have, it's your right to do that. But if you actually want them to come skipping, or at least you better renegotiate what it is, why you're coming to the office. And so I feel the biggest change is, unfortunately, a lot of people have not embraced a lot of the opportunities. There's a lot of unpleasant things, and as someone who became a parent during the pandemic, I get it. There's so many variables, and especially with social media, it's how do I keep track? And so-and-so's industry is really great. Well, what does that mean for mine? If you're not making the time to be strategic with your career, with your people, with your passions, then they're just not going to happen. So I think it's a little cynical on my part, but I still notice that. Not to say there aren't exceptions. Some people took that as a sign of if not now, then never. But it's scary. But I think the biggest thing is that people's ability to, like you just said, the environment, and how long ago was that? And that's okay, it's expected, but we also do have this opportunity to really not change the person in the relationship, but really make our job at the very least less stressful, if not a lot more fulfilling. There is that chance there that I wish more people would stop and invest in themselves.
Well, something that I observed during the pandemic, I thrive in remote work or like a hybrid situation. That's not an issue for me. My husband, though, really struggled with remote work, and it was very clear to me just watching what he was going through that the company that he worked for never planned to have remote employees and wasn't really equipped with how to make people feel valued who were working remote. And so he felt so removed from everything and so just like unnecessary, all these things. And then he started creating all these narratives about, kind of them putting him on the outside. And I was like, I don't think they're trying to. No. I think they're just not.
It's something, this is my cynic. I don't think most companies want, this is actually not cynic, it's skepticism. I believe this, I take a bet. They say, we want high performers, we want you to care. I say, no, you don't. Because if you did, you would pay them, you would give them the flexibility. Yeah. And also, I believe what truly is a high performer is someone who does the job, goes the extra mile, and has a great attitude. But that last one is purely choice. And people who stay where they're not appreciated, you still might be good at your job, but you're not a high performer in my book. Doesn't mean you're not a good person, but high performers feel gratitude. See LeBron James and all his team switching. It's like I win, but I still want more. See a lot of championship people or CEOs, etc. But what I do think they want, I used to say this more negatively, they want C- people. That was me. I went from that to this career. But they want people that are going to come for the next 10, 20, 30 years, be grateful for the cost of living expense. And I don't think that's wrong, but that's a big difference than a high performer. Right. I've softened it, or maybe not polished it to be like, they actually want something better than a C-. They want something called what I have dubbed sustainable performance. I don't need an A++ because then I got to pay that person. But I want someone who comes in, does the job, and likes it. The thoroughness, I don't need the best of the best. As long as I can count on them to do 89%, whatever most of the time. But they're that mission vision. They're saying we need you to hit home runs all the time. And then people who are reliable, they see, hey, we just laid people off. Oh, okay, here, now it's your work. And it's like, look, there's a different way to say this. I never thought retention for the sake of it was a great thing. No, I don't want people losing their jobs all the time. But a lot of times the people who are retained are the people who didn't think I can go take this risk, get paid more money. So I'm not trying to mislabel anyone, but at the end of the day, it's a system. You're getting a paycheck for solving a job, but at the same time, people, we go to school, we read books, we want to do our passion, we want to make our dent in the universe. And I'll put it this way, I think I'd be a horrible employee at most companies. In fact, I could give you some references where I was. And there's a fine line between a high performer and a toxic employee, and I think it's much better to get a reliable employee. And if you can't quite jive with that, those listening, think about the people you pay for, I don't know, to mow your lawn or to do your dry, whatever it is. Like, do you really want the most passionate person? Maybe, but if they know their worth, they're going to be like, hey, this costs a little bit more. I do something a little bit extra, which is okay. But you probably don't want every service you do to be the best of the best. You just want something that's reliable.
That's a really good point. I related with you to what you said because I figured out probably 5 years ago, I started owning it maybe 3 years ago that, I don't work well under management. Like I have to be my own boss or at least in a position where it's very autonomous and I don't need to ask permission to do a lot of things. And I just like, once I accepted that about myself, it changed where and how I decided to show up and work. And
that's the environment. You now realize, hey, I'm going to thrive much better here versus here.
Right. And understanding that, right? I mean, when I left stable income, it gave me a different appreciation for all that dead wood that I worked with that were just there. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand them a lot better.
Yeah.
And also, what is stable? My parents work with the post office, and hasn't got gutted just yet, but it's coming. It used to be you work for the government, you take a little bit of a pay cut, you have liability.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah.
Like that was something. I'm 43. For the 42.5 years of my life, that was true, and now it's not anymore.
Yeah.
So it's not to say get over it, suck it up, but it's not to say don't pretend like it's going to go away. Stability isn't a real thing. It's your definition of it. And so to be able, what I do more one-on-one coaching is taking calculated risk. What is a good decision for me probably is not exactly the same. Maybe 80%, but still that 20%, right. Especially we're changing lives, et cetera. Or your husband, being in the same house. And so I don't think it's I know it's not a one-size-fits-all remote, et cetera. But at the end of the day, people say, hey, can you solve this problem? And I think you were nicer, at least with your employees, and maybe not nicer, but your experience was more positive. They did tell me. I just saw it differently. I bet money if I go in a time machine, they didn't tell you. That they probably said all these buzzwords and you were excited to come there.
Well, I'll give you a little context.
Fair.
Okay, so I was there for 10 years. I had a different position almost every year that I was there. And it was kind of one of those things where I kept getting promoted and I kept getting promoted. I ended up taking over a team of about 18 people and 32 properties. And the team that I ended up taking over was very, very young. And I loved that. That was so cool to me. I love this idea of nurturing young talent and kind of shaping their career paths. When I got brought on, I remember the first meeting, they were like, oh yeah, let us know right away who's underperforming because we'll fire them. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, that's weird, but okay, know. And then like one of the next meetings I had, they said something kind of similar. And I went the opposite direction. I started going, oh, they're not paying them a livable wage. Mm-hmm. Most of my young staff is having to get a second job to like afford a crappy apartment and like, all this stuff. So I started going to bat for them of being like, no, they need to make and management was like,
that's not what we want you doing.
We don't care about that.
We want you to lead this team, but their definition of leading. So I'm being silly here, but my point is if I put you in a room, you ever see that thing where they take the older generation and the younger and they say, how do you answer the phone, or use the rotary, and then people, what they view leading from the Mad Men era to the 80s era to 90 is so different than someone who wants to do it here. There's a woman who's amazing, Jasmine Bhatti of Navi Nurses. Not sure if you know she is, but she has this nurse practice. But I interviewed her on my podcast years ago, and she said, nurses eat their young. I was like, record scratch, what? And it was like, basically, we went through this crappy situation, and to survive it, that's what you're going to do. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. She had to go through it, but she's like, I don't want to make it worse. That's not the default. Yeah. I'm not saying people are easy. People are, I don't think most managers, or I should say, my friends disagree when I say it's not a leader's job to make you happy. Yeah. And people were like, well, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, fair. But here's why. It's hard enough to train someone, give them the proper resources and a livable wage. Like if we did that, man, the world would be a much better place. But now you want them to be happy in addition to this other thing. But some people, they think that, but their version of happy isn't my version of happy. Right. And so it's like, if you're not going to take the time to figure that out, which is a huge thing. Like I'm a big fan of mental health, but I don't want any manager asking me about my my depression or anxiety or whatever it is. And so it's like, the job's already hard enough. The descriptions keep changing. When pandemic happened, I had a team of 10. Now I have a team of 4, and we're all getting paid the same, but expected to produce the same. So no one
or
in here.
More.
Because
exactly. Now you've got to fill that void of 10 folks.
Or working from home. People would go home. I remember I would observe, and I've always been an agent of chaos when it comes to my work. I don't like linear things. Not to say it's not necessary sometimes, but watching people get so stressed. Mainly my wife, but hearing people describe their day of, I turn on my computer, I'm like, when you have the office, you're not actually working 8-10 hours a day. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you go in, if you're anything like me, you're probably talking to 2-3 people or blah, blah, blah. Then you do this, you have breaks. At home, you might do the laundry, et cetera, but like, don't think you have to be great for 8 hours. Now, some people, that's a different exception, but like, it's a different environment at home versus in the office. I'm the same person, but why don't I like this? So it's all these variables or blind spots, but I don't expect any one person to figure it out. And frankly, as what I call myself, a C- student, I'm like, oh, that's why you were a pain in the ass for so long, Juan. Because you appreciate what it is to go from high performer to toxic employee to the leader who needs to check people's expectations and also like, hey, I want to champion them, but also there's no way I can get you a livable wage with what they're telling me. How do I deliver the bad news? Like, that's where I do agree. A manager's job is to keep their employees happy. To tell your A player is like, hey, I'm going to try to do this, but the odds are low. Yeah. You probably should take that other job or blah, blah, blah. But corporate's not going to like that we're telling people that. Yeah. But there's corporate values and there's mine. And like you said, it's not that I can't work with anyone. I'm sure you do, but I'm not going to compromise my own values.
Yes, that is very true.
Indeed.
Well, Juan, why don't you share with our watchers here how they can learn more about you, contact you, and hopefully work with you?
Yeah, so I am all over the country, occasionally international, but just recently I have a podcast on YouTube, video of my wife joined as a recurring guest. We're about 200 episodes. She just recently joined. But the best way is to check out the Career Blindspot podcast. We would love it if you liked and subscribe. And we are soft launching, it actually exists, I'm not sure when this is going to come out, but there are 3 tiers for people who can't afford a corporate rate or a keynote speaker, but you can actually get like a digital copy of the book or a physical copy. They start at like $9 a month to $55, and then there's a bigger one. So that's the best way. I wrote the book during the pandemic. It's more of like a long blog that I printed out, and it's kind of perennial workplace advice, a new work mindset, the truth about our leaders, work, and ourselves in the workplace. And I remember I didn't want to finish it because it's scary to write a book, and I realized what am I going to tell my kids or what would I want them to know if I wasn't around? And so that's the messy version of what I decided to get out, and that was like deep in the pandemic era, so it might not have all the wisdom that I share today.
Well, it's such a fascinating conversation, and he's seriously been dropping truth bombs like all casual, but it's great. So reach out to Juan if you are in a position where you need this kind of support and help, and also keep it here because we have more interesting things to do, history, more interviews, all coming
More
at you.
Arizona love.
Yep, here at The Morning Show.